I made it. I made it. Happy Thursday, my fellow Madorables out there. I am Nikki Maduro. She is Kim McAllister. I'm fixing my camera a little bit. I was rushing today, Kim McAllister, and welcome everybody to the show. Hit that subscribe button. We've made it to live at 5 with my cocktail. But geez Louise, doctor's appointments for kids getting ready for sports is insane in the membrane. So I rushed.
I love the doctors. And
I do.
They're so knowledgeable and lovely, but sometimes they make it feel like their time is more valuable than our time.
Let's go already. And I appreciate my pediatrician, but we're new to her because we moved to this new house. So we've only seen her a couple of times. So I feel like she's really trying to build a rapport with my daughter. And I didn't mean to be like, let's go. I was like, we got stuff
Nikki's
to do.
in the back. Can we speed this process up?
I got a show.
You really have to take the blood pressure? Let's go.
Yeah, no, and then Marley needed a medication, so we had to go to the... Anyways, welcome. So happy that everybody is here. Again, hit that subscribe button. Anybody that's here, we appreciate you guys joining us each and every day. What you have a cocktail on the way. Is that correct, Miss McAllister?
I do have a cocktail on the way. I am going to be served Whistle Pig whiskey.
Ooh.
Now, I'm not a hard booze drinker. I'm
by itself, or are you going to make, or is it going to be mixed with something?
What I'm told is by itself, or maybe on the rocks.
Ooh,
but that's
he's going strong. You're going to get hammered by the end of it.
So my husband, I told him it was a cocktail hour, and he goes, "Oh, I'm going to serve you up the whiskey." We have the whiskey because once a year on the Marine Corps birthday, he'll pour himself some whiskey and have a toast to the Marines. This is why we have this whiskey.
Oh, nice.
But he said it will be really funny to see you have to suck down this whiskey on the show. So a little later on, I'll get that going.
I cannot wait for that to happen. I'm drinking my white trash kind of mule, Jim Beam, club soda, ginger beer.
Look at you.
It's my Kentucky Mule, so I love it. Liz is drinking some wine. That's fine. Ricky, drink the root beer, drink the ginger beer, whatever. Deidre, still working. No cocktails. We'll have the cocktail for you.
This is why Deidre can afford to have a condo in Maui, because Deidre's always working.
Exactly. See? So either work with no cocktails in the condo in Maui, which today it's the anniversary today, I believe, of the fire in Maui 1 year ago.
I was talking earlier about the banyan tree.
It's coming back.
It is coming back. It's thriving. They had to cut a bunch of it away. Right. So it's not the same. But if you look at pictures of it, you see the old burned out tree, and then you see now. And it's green, and people are walking around and underneath it. And it really is, I think, a symbol of hope that the town can come back. Yeah.
Again, if you guys remember, we had just returned like the month before from Maui and saw the tree. We went to the restaurants right there, and it was just so devastating. So it's definitely a symbol of rebirth. But we have to remember, like more than 100 people lost their lives in this fire, let alone the devastation and the culture that was lost. So I'm glad that they're coming back. I'm glad that they're instituting some rules about housing and building and things like that, but it's going to be a long time. So again, our prayers go out to everybody there. And yeah, I would love. Oh yeah, Deidre says travel to Maui. Tourism is down dramatically. That is some very good advice.
So on the left is the burned tree after the fire. And on the right, you can see all the greenery and the tree
looks
coming
gorgeous. Back. I mean, that is just so promising. Oh, I love it. Okay, so that's some good news. All right, we're going to get into a lot of stuff today. I never really like to put a time on our show, Kim McAllister, especially when we're drinking, because I never know how long we're going to go. Sure. But I've got a ton of videos. Trump is losing his mind as Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who since the last time we talked has been named as the vice presidential choice. We haven't been able to talk. I'm sure you've been discussing it with Mark Thompson and everybody. Your initial reactions between you and me of Walz being the choice.
Who's that guy?
I mean, he was the weird guy, though. He's the one that started the weird, apparently. So calling the GOP and Trump and all MAGA people weird. So he's that guy.
So I'm this week is my learn about Tim Walz week.
I
So
love learning about Tim Walz, by the way. I'm loving
reading
it.
about him. I'm learning about him. When I saw him speak at that rally in Philadelphia on
Right.
by video, I thought his facial mannerisms were a little interesting.
Okay.
I'm still kind of getting used to him, but
Right.
I really love what he's about. It says a lot to me that at the
Okay.
same time, you can coach the linebackers on the football team
Mm-hmm.
and you can be the faculty advisor for the LGBTQ student club, right?
Exactly.
So bringing those two groups of people into a place where they feel like they belong in high
Yeah.
school, that says something about who he is. That's what
Yeah.
Kamala Harris said at the rally. And the more I thought about how inclusive that is, I know, ooh, that's the boogeyman word,
Yeah.
right? Inclusion, that's a woke word. But I
Hmm.
think it's really important because I know you and I both have kids in high school.
Exactly.
So when we look at that, about how we want our kids to be included, we want them to find something in high school that keeps them interested in coming back and engaged.
Yeah.
And here you have someone who's facilitating that.
Mm-hmm.
Those people, those are the kinds of teachers that are, they can inspire a whole community.
Yeah.
And that he then is amazing enough at that in his community to be elected governor, right? To
Yeah.
be sent to Congress.
Oh, and he's loved. He is loved
Yeah.
out there. And there's this one video. I'm gonna start. I was gonna save it for a little bit, but this is the video. Like, he does these things, and he's being called like the Midwestern dad because
Yeah,
apparently
and he
like
is.
has it totally on point. Like, he is just a guy that's gonna put his arm around you. He's gonna teach you how to save some money. He's gonna do all of these things because here's this video. This is off the Daily Show, and it's so freaking funny because this is just some of the stuff that he does. Remember, he's like governor and
Hey
stuff.
everybody, Tim here. 11 days till the election, but that's my pro tip of the day out on the road. I got to show you this. This right here is the headlight harness on a 2014 Ford Edge. Ford, this is unacceptable. It burned out hot on the connector. So for $7.99 at Napa Auto Parts here in the city, you can replace this. Just clip off the back, use some shrink wrap connectors on there, tape it back together and put it back in. It's about a 5-minute fix and you're back on the road safe and sound.
See, I mean, like, Donald Trump's not going to do that. You know what I mean?
No.
And the Daily Show was going off. They're like, he's going to like, don't farm that out. I can get under the hood of the,
Totally.
some sort of jet or whatever and fix it up. It's so funny.
That's my dad. Like, that's
Right.
my dad.
That is what is
When
so
my car breaks,
relatable.
I'm calling my dad and he's like,
Exactly.
oh, it's probably this. That should cost about this. Make sure you don't get taken.
Exactly.
Right? That's my
Exactly.
dad. That's Tim Walz.
That's
So I'm
Tim Walz.
learning more about who he is. What do you think?
I mean, again, I'm like you. When I woke up and it said Tim Walz, I knew it wasn't going to be Buttigieg. Okay, I knew that. Okay,
Yeah.
I knew that they were putting out some people to distract. Right, Shapiro, I was kind of being like, maybe. Although
Yeah.
I felt like it was very calculated because I don't know if you saw, but a couple of days before it was announced, apparently there was a quote unquote leak that it was Shapiro.
Oh, I
And
didn't see that.
yeah, and then it was taken down right away. Like, there was some sort of like tweet or something that was put out and then erased. And some people are like, no, they were probably maybe testing the waters, or it just somebody made it just in preparation in case he was named
Sure.
the vice president. So I don't know what it kind of was, but the more that I'm learning about Walz, the happier I am with the choice, because while he is not from this state that we need, his state does border other states, and his personality and the way he talks about the issues and making sure that he encompasses Harris and Biden, right? Like, any of the progress and the wins of the Biden-Harris administration can go to Kamala Harris. But what you were talking about, Kim, about, high school and caring about all these things that are supposedly progressive, here he's on CNN kind of talking about that exact thing about being called extreme by Donald Trump.
Trump is trying to paint Vice President Harris as an ultra liberal. Of all her potential running mates, you might have the most progressive record as governor. I know you were more of a moderate when you were in the House. But you've legalized recreational marijuana, you passed universal background checks on guns, you expanded LGBTQ protections, you implemented tuition-free college for low-income Minnesotans. There's free breakfast and lunch for school kids. Do you think your record is an asset to the ticket, or would it risk fueling Trump's attacks as you being a big government liberal?
What a monster. Kids are eating and having full bellies so they can go learn, and women are making their own healthcare decisions. And we're a top 5 business state, and we also rank in the top 3 of happiness. Look, they're going to label what they're going to label. He's going to roll it out, mispronounce names, to try and make the case. The fact of the matter is, where you see the policies that Vice President Harris was a part of making, Democratic governors across the country executed those policies, and quality of life is higher. The economies are better. All of those things. Educational attainment is better. So yeah, my kids are going to eat here, and you're going to have a chance to go to college, and you're going to have an opportunity to live where we're working on reducing carbon emissions. Oh, and by the way, you're going to have personal incomes that are higher, and you're going to have health insurance. So if that's where they want to label me, I'm more than happy to take the label.
And do you want to know the other thing
Love
that's
that.
shocking that's going around?
Love.
I know. He's so good at it. He's like, if you want to
he-
call me extreme because I'm feeding the kids and I'm making the economy better and I'm trying to get you better health care and all that, fine. Okay, sure. Okay. Label me that. And because Trump is going completely the same way he always has been, and they're not playing that game. There was a part in a rally when Harris was talking, and it was really interesting. This was a few days ago. I think I have it. And there was somebody yelling. I don't have it up right now, but there was somebody yelling, "Lock him up, lock him up."
Oh,
and she kind of shut it down really quickly. She's like, the courts are going to take care of that. It's as if she's like, I'm not gonna make the rallies something about Trump and kind of give him fuel. I'm going to talk about the issues. Now, she does take her digs here and there. I'm not saying she doesn't or that Walz doesn't, but I really feel like they really want to do this. When we fight, we win. We're not going back. Those sorts of things.
Moments where this has happened now, where it's the chants that were familiar from Donald Trump in 2016, the lock her up chants. And now it is a lock him up chant whenever they are talking about Trump's crimes, the fact that he's a convicted felon. But how Harris handled this moment really stood out to me. She's done this 3 times now. Watch this.
Hold on. You know what? Here, hold on. Here's the thing. The courts are going to handle that. We're going to beat them in November.
See? That's what you do. That's what you do.
Handle that part of it.
Yeah. So that's what she does over and over again. Mm-hmm.
Because again, you don't want to bring him any more attention. That's what Donald Trump wants. He wants you to talk about him. He wants the free publicity. And Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, yes, they will talk about him and they'll call him weird and all that kind of stuff, and they'll have their zingers here and there. But if you're trying to rally people about what you're going to do for them, then that's what you lead with. And I think it's extremely smart that they're, kind of quote unquote playing the game. Mm-hmm. And it's, they're going to debate. So the news today, of course, is that Donald Trump has agreed to an ABC debate. Because remember, he was like, I'm only going to go on Fox News, which is not a news channel. Fox News had to pay out how much money for lying to the American people? You don't get to moderate a presidential debate when the channel that you are on has to pay that much money for lying. So sorry, Fox, you don't get to have a debate. No, thank you.
Well, that's not the only thing that Kamala Harris did at a rally, as far as the way she handled, what the crowd was doing. Apparently, at a rally today, there was a heckler, and I don't know what the heckler was saying.
Okay.
But here's her reaction. So check this out.
Okay.
He intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. He intends to surrender our fight against the climate crisis, and he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
Ooh, okay.
Now she continues. Check it out. She
Okay.
continues to give the look the glare. That's the mom look. I know that
Right.
look.
The mom look. I wonder what he said. Do we know what he said?
I don't know.
She looks pissed.
She does, right?
If you want Donald Trump to win,
Even
keep
Donald-
saying that.
So I like it when she's like, I'm speaking, because I like it when she takes power back.
Right.
But in this instance,
women
she
have it's a
skirted
different
that
game for women.
line with
Yeah.
bitchy, and she has to be careful not to look bitchy, because, and I know this is a woman thing, right?
It always is, yes.
we have
do
to
the dance.
present to the
Yes.
corporation or to the working world or to the public
Mm-hmm.
a likable, get along type of thing. You can't look like you're a bitch on wheels,
No.
even if it's warranted.
Yeah.
And you have to, she has to, what do they say about men? Is it somebody I want to go out in the bar and drink a
Have
beer,
with? Yeah. And Tim
We-
Walz takes care of that.
She has to be relatable and non-bitchy.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I don't know if she really pulled it off. I mean, it was probably warranted. I love her anyway, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think if we knew what he said, I'm sure it was something against Donald Trump, but who knows? I would need a little bit more context, because if he was saying, I can't even imagine what he would, the person in the audience would say that would elicit such a pissed off response. But maybe because she was on a roll. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, I'm trying to do my speech here, and you are interrupting me. You know what I mean? like how dare you? And it has to be so hard to do it, you know?
It was a small group of protesters, and they were persistently chanting what appeared to be a pro-Palestinian message.
Oh, okay. I see okay. Well,
and whether or not she agrees with the message, they were there interrupting what was, otherwise a positive Harris rally.
Yeah.
So,
ooh, again, there are issues, and this is what also Kamala Harris has to face, is that she hasn't done any interviews, right? Which I agree that she just got, the presumptive nomination. Is it still presumptive? They did the virtual roll call. I don't think it's official until they have the in-person one, right? But she's obviously a nominee. It just happened. You know what I mean? But she does have to make her stance on issues clear. And this is going to be a hard one, I think, for her to balance, right?
Yep.
So even though she might feel strongly in her position, when you are campaigning, you're going to have to deal with hecklers who disagree with you.
Yeah.
Hold on. Put Jennifer's comment right back up. She says, don't know what the heckler said, but it's not so much about being polite as a woman, but more about not giving hecklers any space at all. Acknowledgement is what they want. I think that you hit the nail on the head, Jennifer. Really. Yeah, that's true. And Suann says, Harris met with Palestinian protesters before the speech. Hecklers were accusing her of genocide, even though she told them beforehand that she was open to their demands. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, a little bit of context there. And the thing that I would ask people is, the alternative, is Donald Trump. I mean, really, do you think that he's going to do jack crap? Like, please give me a break. Rev loved it. Super powerful. Yeah, I agree. Women need to stop worrying about being polite. I agree. I think we have PTSD from Hillary Clinton. I really do. I think we just have PTSD. But Kamala Harris is not Hillary Clinton.
No.
Hillary Clinton came with a ton more baggage. Kamala Harris has her own, but not nearly the same as Hillary Clinton.
So the thing about women, not needing to worry about being polite, I feel like in this case, every move she makes is being judged and monitored.
Yes, of course.
And so, in general, I would agree with what Heather says, but in this instance, we do have to consider it. Our people will consider it.
Right.
I loved when she said, I'm speaking. I want a strong leader like that. I want a woman who can stand up for herself and say, nope, here's what we're doing. Stay on task.
Yeah.
Right? But I know when she gives that glare, that mom look.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
know when she says, I'm speaking. There are other people out there who are going to be like, ooh, she's a total B.
Yeah.
Right?
But you know what? Donald Trump is a total a-hole. Like, did you remember last week when we were talking about him in front of the National Association of Black Journalists? He was Donald Trump wasn't acting like an a-hole. Donald Trump is an a-hole. You know what I mean? There's a difference between I can be a bitch and I am a bitch. Yes. Kamala Harris can be. Donald Trump is. There's a
we
massive
all can
difference.
Be, right?
Exactly. But there's a huge difference. Donald Trump, he's badass crazy. Kevin, I think she was great. It's again, like the next couple of months, I think, yes, we are in this honeymoon stage. I don't believe that she can implode. I really don't, because again, the alternative is Donald Trump, who is just unqualified. He is in every way, shape, or form disqualified himself to be president. There is, in my opinion, no Republican candidate for president. There is none. He is disqualified. There is no candidate. The Republican Party is asinine that they were not able to break away from MAGA at all, and they made him the nominee. And then JD Vance, no. That's idiot. Kevin says, is it being a bitch or just tough? Exactly. The truth of the matter is, I don't even mind if someone says, she can be a bitch. Yeah, I can be. And I don't take offense to that. Now, if it's warranted, you know what I mean? But I'm not. Does that make sense? It is not who I am. When it's time for that to come out, it comes out. And I don't just throw the bitchiness around. You have to pick and choose your moments. Yeah. That makes it more impactful, right? Donald Trump is losing his impact because he's constantly this child that's having a temper tantrum because he wants all the attention on himself. He gave this weird press conference, and I apologize, I don't have the video up right now, where he's just going off again, insulting Kamala, saying she doesn't like Jewish people again. He's just, and people are bored with him. It's done. We've seen this show before. We're done. It's that boring.
Juvenile way of insulting someone where you can't get their name right.
Right.
And in this case, it's being called racist. He's calling her Kamabla or Kamala or something like that. And they're doing it over and over again, and they're doing it on purpose. This is a woman who was a senator from California and is the vice president of the United States. We know her name. So for you to get it wrong like that, I guess they're saying it's a racist, some type of racist attack.
He's purposely doing it because he's an a-hole.
Which is dumb.
Now, Rev says a bad debate could tank anyone. Hello, Joe Biden. I really hope she's worked on her debate skills. I mean, I really don't think that Kamala Harris, well, she can't do any worse than Joe Biden. I really think the thing that Kamala Harris has on her side, one, she was a prosecutor. You know what I mean? She has, I would imagine, the ability to debate. I can't imagine it's hard to debate Donald Trump because he's constantly lying. As long as you know your facts, and that was the problem with Joe Biden, is because of his age and everything, he wasn't able to be quick with no, mofo. You know what I mean? Kamala Harris is going to be prepared. Kamala Harris, we're all experts at this point with all of Trump's lies. It is ingrained in us, the amount of BS that flows out of this man's mouth, that it's not that hard to call him on the carpet. And also, what I would also encourage Kamala Harris to do is urge him to actually answer the question being asked, because that's Donald Trump's Achilles heel. At least in the last debate, he didn't actually answer most of the questions because he doesn't have an answer that makes any sense. Maud says her likability is not so hot on some of the black channels. It's really bad. It's an eye opener for sure. It is what it is. The alternative, again, is Donald Trump. That's all I keep saying to people.
If you think
that Donald Trump, black community, other communities, is looking out for you and not him, tell me what you're smoking, because you're high. I just don't, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I'm just saying, it doesn't, it's Kamala's to lose. She's up in some of the national polls, although it's way early. And you know what? I don't give two licks about polls. If she was down in the polls, I wouldn't care. I don't like polls. After 2016, they mean nothing to me. Go vote. That's all that that matters. I want her to win in a landslide. I don't want it to be freaking close.
No.
I want them to call it so freaking early because there is no way in hell Donald Trump can find any freaking votes. You know what I mean? I don't want that nonsense again.
I want it to be such a landslide that there's no way that all the people that the GOP have put into place in election offices to somehow not certify elections won't be able to get away with it because it'll be obvious.
Exactly.
But, we pick a vice president. As a backup plan.
Of
just
course.
in case something happens to,
Exactly.
The top banana, we got a backup. Unfortunately, Trump's bad decision-making continues with his backup plan. And
ouch for JD Vance.
I don't know if you saw this. Yeah, to me, neither option is viable, right?
No.
So he lands at the same tarmac as Vice President Harris. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. And he decides that he's going to do this, it reminds me of, remember when Trump lurked behind Hillary Clinton at a debate?
Right.
Like that creepy, weird thing that men do to somehow assert their dominance.
Yeah.
So she lands on the tarmac. She's already gone to whatever event she's going to. And then Vance lands, and he and all of his team of, what looks like mostly men in suits, they decide they're going to storm over to Air Force 2. I don't know if they're going to knock on the door. Kamala, come out. Right. I don't know. But here's what happened.
Oh, God. He is so weird. He is an odd duck. I'm just going to say. Okay.
So there they are.
They're walking
over. They're walking across.
Did you see the vice president? Hey, guys. How are you? Good. I just wanted to check out my future plane, but I also wanted to go say hello to the vice president and ask her why Kamala Harris refuses. Why does she refuse to answer questions from the media? And I also thought that the press gaggle following her might get a little lonely. I at least have enough respect for you all and for the American people you report to come and talk to you and to answer some questions. And so I thought her reporters might actually benefit from that as well. So had a little bit of fun. I don't think the vice president waved at me as she drove away, but I'm glad to have done it, and I'm glad to be here in Wisconsin actually trying to persuade people to vote for us as opposed to just giving another scripted speech. The questions? You did see the vice president. I saw her car. I did not see the vice president. The windows are tinted.
Did you get to speak to her? So you didn't get to speak to her?
I did not speak to her. No, I don't. I think she was trying to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible. But I did speak to a lot of the press gaggle following her.
Ugh, I mean, he's so odd.
Does that seem like weird? And it weird and truly weird. And does it seem like something that maybe someone running for a state office might try to do? It's not professional at all.
No,
this is not a vice presidential thing to do.
Right. It's obviously it's very weird. It's one of those things where he's trying to score points with the media by being like, look, I'm talking to you. She's not talking to you. But again, this is the same media that has been fed a load of BS from the guy that you're latched onto. So they're not buying it either. It's like, yeah, okay. She's going to have to do interviews. If you really think Kamala Harris between now and November isn't going to give any interviews, you're an idiot. They haven't even had their convention yet. Biden is still president. Let's realize that it's been a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. Yes, what is she supposed to freaking do? She's running a campaign. She's still vice president. She probably was a little shocked that Biden did it as well, although the writing was on the wall. I'm just saying, give it some time, JD. You're trying to score points, and I do think it's just a little premature, and he's really trying a bit too hard. Just a bit too hard. So we'll see.
Conversely, back to Tim Walz on the other side with the vice presidential pick. We like him. He seems dad-like. He's getting all this scrutiny over his military service.
Oh, yes. This has been stupid.
Years he served in the military, right? 24 years of service. 24. And they're picking him apart.
Yeah.
There was some type of, when he was running for governor, his opponent said he had embellished his military service.
Yeah, he was talking about guns and guns of war, guns that he picked up in war. I guess there was a statement where he said in war, and he never like he never was deployed to like the battleground or whatever.
Right.
The dude served 24 years in service. And I will also remind you that just because you're not in war doesn't mean you don't pick up certain weapons. Okay.
Well, let me tell you that when you are a member of the service, you could be sent at any moment to a war anywhere, and you have to be ready for it. Mm-hmm. So my husband was a U.S. Marine for a few years, and he was never sent to war. It was close, but he didn't ever have to go.
It doesn't mean that he didn't give anything to his country. You know what I mean?
He definitely knows how to use a rifle, and he was an expert marksman in the Marines, and he was trained, and he knows how to do all of these things. So I would imagine that Tim Walz trained as well in his 24 years with the Army National Guard. And I would imagine that he carried those weapons, and maybe, well, he didn't shoot anyone with them.
Right.
That he certainly knows how to operate one. So that's just a non-starter for me.
It's a non-starter. And again, what the hell did Trump do? Right? I mean, come on, nothing. He had his daddy get him out of service. You know what I mean? So again, the alternative, they stand there in judgment of good human beings while they're sitting in a load of crap. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I want to show another video. This is Walz actually talking about, he's going to have to debate JD Vance, which I've never wanted to see a vice presidential debate. I want to see this vice presidential debate.
Yep. All regular people I grew up with in the heartland. JD studied at Yale, had his career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then wrote a bestseller trashing that community. Come on. That's not what middle America is. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy.
Now wait for it, because remember I told you that JD Vance has that rumor that he screws his couch?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that joke?
Yeah.
So Walz, I can't believe that he actually says what he's about to say. And I'm like, oh my, this is politics.
That is if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So, see what I did there?
See? I'm like, the dude, I mean, take some balls to say that. I mean, come on now.
I don't know if Kamala Harris could have said that.
No.
But I think that Tim Walz saying it, he makes it into kind of a dad joke almost. Well, see what I did there?
See what I made that joke because he screws his couch. You get it? And again, as you saw in the thumbnail for the show, the young people that are running this campaign or the social media campaign doing the whole Harris-Walz, and they highlight the RIZZ, they are really appealing to the younger voter because these people are engaged in a way that, I mean, my 16-year-old, she's not 16 yet, but 15-year-old daughter knows about political issues. I was completely disengaged at her age. I mean, the only thing I knew about the news is when Peter Jennings came on, it was dinner time. You know what I mean? That's what I knew. Like, I was like, oh, crap, it's dinner time. That's what I knew. Yeah. Absolutely. These kids with social media, they're totally engaged. Oh, Lady Beatrice, thank you for the $5 donation to our super chat. They're giving Trump and Vance a run for their money. You could tell the other side is getting nervous.
That's true.
Way more than nervous. Thank you again so much for the super chat donation, which you guys can find, by the way. Look for the $ under the live chat box. We appreciate each and every donation, and we'll read your comment live for the entire show if you do it during the live show. But yeah, they're way more than nervous. They're losing the narrative. There was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and nobody talks about it anymore. Nobody's talking about it. And I'm not saying that it's not worthy of an investigation. I don't want anybody. I mean, did you also hear there was like an ISIS terror threat at Taylor Swift concert?
They canceled 3 concerts.
3 concerts. And this was in Austria, of course. But I'm just saying, I want people protected. I want our politicians protected, even if I don't like Donald Trump. I want to get to the bottom of what happened there. But the fact that Donald Trump no longer can build momentum off someone shooting at his head is nuts. I mean, it's kind of nuts, it just really is. And thank you so much. It's like, I miss when you don't have a show. We are here. We are drinking. Where is your cocktail, my friend? I'm going to almost finish my cocktail.
It's coming.
David, bring the cocktail.
He
Yeah.
had to take the kid to karate, so you know how it
Oh, it's karate time. My husband and my son are on a bike ride together, so
Oh,
we have
fun.
the whole house to ourselves. Now,
Yeah.
I want. Oh, go ahead. Did you want to say something about your
No.
children? Okay. I'm bringing up children to talk about JD Vance really quickly. Did you see the weird story that he told about getting the call to become the vice presidential nominee with Donald Trump? So, I understand. Any parent knows. Your kids ignore you until you have an important phone call.
Sure.
Or
The minute your
something's going
attention
on.
is turned,
The minute,
they want it back.
They
Yes.
want you. They're knocking on your door. They're putting their fingers under the door. They want your
Right.
attention, right? Like they
Yes.
didn't care two licks about you all day.
I
and then
haven't
all
been
of a
able
sudden-
to use the restroom by myself in about 14 years. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like they just come on in, right?
It's
So-
like the guy from Seinfeld. What's his name? Who just busts in Kramer?
Oh, yeah,
busts
Kramer.
into the door
Like,
like I'm in the bathroom, and it's like, rah! People are coming in. Yeah.
Exactly. So on one hand, I'm going to play you this video. I get like the story. Like I think he was trying to kind of relate, but the way he delivers it is like you're an a-hole. Like that's
Yeah.
this is just a really weird way of telling this story. So JD Vance is telling the story of how he got the call to be the vice presidential nominee.
So, hey, I'm like, oh no. I call Trump and I'm like, hey, sir,
You
what's
missed the
going on?
call.
He's like, JD, you missed a very important phone call. And now I'm going to have to pick somebody else. And I'm, I like tense up and almost have a heart attack. And the crazy thing about it is my son, who's 7, is in the hotel room with me. And he's really into Pokemon cards right now. He's going through a Pokemon phase. Are you guys into Pokemon?
I was back in the day.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
okay.
a big phase right now, I think, in general.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's really into it. So he's trying to talk to me about Pikachu. And I'm on the phone with Donald Trump. And I'm like, son, shut the hell up for 30 seconds about Pikachu. This is the most important phone call of my life. Please just let me take this phone call. So
It's so like everyone's vilifying the dude because he told his kid to shut the hell up. Now, I don't know if that's really the way it happened. Maybe he said it nicer, but I'm just like, that's not the way that you tell the story. Like you're like, oh my God, my kid was like, talking about Pikachu on one hand and I have Donald Trump on the other hand. Like it's just two totally different things. I'm trying to be a dad and I'm trying to be a vice president.
Right?
It is.
I mean,
and then he's like, shut the hell up, kid. It's like, okay, you're just a weirdo. Like that is just not the way you tell the story. And they're losing ground. Kim, when the mayor of Mesa, Arizona, red zone, Arizona, is like behind Republicans against Donald Trump, is like joining the call. Here's a video of him and they don't even care anymore. They're like, yeah, no, they're coming out. And this is what I love seeing.
The time has come for us as Arizona Republicans to admit the obvious and to start saying the quiet part out loud, which is that our party's nominee is not qualified for office and that we need to vote for the adult in the room, and that is Kamala Harris.
Thank you.
Time to put partisan loyalties aside and vote for the leadership that will truly represent the people we want to be in the eyes of the world. Character matters.
There you go, man. Where the hell have you guys been? But I'm glad you joined the party.
Thank you.
I am so happy to see Republicans for Harris on like a background. You know what I mean? Like they're not saying it in whispers. They're not going to be going to the polling place and just they're loudly saying, no, dude, this Trump guy, no bueno. We cannot do another round of this guy. No.
I would like to think of both you and I that if the tables were turned and the Democratic nominee was someone who was putting our democracy and constitution at risk, was someone who said outlandish things and hurled the most awful, offensive name calls at people and nicknames at people, and was rather Trump-like, that you and I would go, you know what?
No, not that
Policy
person.
aside,
Yeah.
all the things we want aside, this is not right.
Yeah.
This is not America. This is not what we want. And this is what it's going to take, is people to stand up to someone who was rather tyrant-like before he gets back into power. We have to do it. And it has to be the people from all sides.
Absolutely. There's another one. And this guy had already come out. He's a former Georgia Republican, lieutenant governor. Jeff Duncan. He was the one of the early ones that had come out and said, I was voting for Biden. He's now said, I'm voting for Harris. And here he is talking. And it's really sweet, actually. He's like, I actually went to a rally. Like, listen to this story.
You might have heard a little bit about this, but I went to my first Democratic rally this week on Tuesday.
You don't say. No one in Georgia seems to notice.
It was like an out-of-body experience, but it was great. Saw lots of great friends and folks I served with, and just really, really good. But the thing I kept hearing over and over and over again from colleagues that were in elected office, people I knew just in general, and from the media, was it felt a lot like the Obama run. There was an energy in that room. There was just something different than just an election. It was a movement that was showing up. There was like this release valve of tension. And when I see these moves, and I'm still learning these names, right? I don't really know who these people are. I don't really run in these circles. But when you see that they used to work in the Obama campaigns, you watch the same sheet of music starting to show back up again.
And that's what I like to hear, because if there's anybody that I love, it's Mr. Obama. I just, again, the inspiration, the not saying he's the next Messiah, right? Not saying every decision he made was right, okay? Not saying that. He's a human being who made mistakes, right? But it's the honesty to own up to it. It's not lying. It's not, remember, you know what I was thinking about the other day when I was just remembering Trump's presidency? Remember the hurricane? Wasn't it the hurricane thing? And he used the Sharpie because he didn't want to be wrong. Remember? And he like drew on the map because he like said that it was going to extend somewhere and it didn't. And then he like drew on the map and made it even larger. He's so insane, and we're so desensitized to it. But I think like being reminded and being like, we can't possibly in our right mind think we're going to do that again. I'm just so happy. Yeah, Meredith, where have all these reasonable Republicans been? I agree with you, but I am happy they are here, because again, I don't want to be those like, screw you guys, where have you been? No, welcome to the fold. Yes, let's debate policy again. Democrats are not always right. I do believe in many instances, because I consider myself a Democrat, that I agree with us. But I'm willing to debate, to compromise, to understand that people feel differently, that we're a gigantic country, that I'm not always going to get what I want to look exactly how I want it. But I want to go back to sanity, not this insane in the membrane type of president who says whatever he wants and just makes everyone else say it, even when they know it's not true. You have to have that baseline of facts. If you don't, then we'll lose it all over again.
Yeah.
I have so many videos. I swear to God. One more that I wanted to play, and this has to go again to the female, the woman aspect, because obviously reproductive freedom is on the ballot. I mean, women are going to come out in force. Men should be coming out in force, right? I mean, obviously reproductive freedom impacts everyone. But what I loved was seeing Tim Walz talking about reproductive freedom and how Republicans are threatening all of it by sharing his story.
It's personal for me and my family. When my wife and I decided to have children, we spent years going through infertility treatment. And I remember praying every night for a call for good news. The pit in my stomach when the phone rang, and the agony when we heard that the treatments hadn't worked. It wasn't by chance that when we welcomed our daughter into the world, we named her Hope. When Vice President and I talk about freedom, we mean the freedom to make your own healthcare decisions.
And he went on to say, even the freedom to make your own healthcare decisions, even if it's one that you wouldn't personally make. You know, it's the whole mind your own business. He like went off and on about that. And I thought of you instantly when he said, it's like, keep your eyes on your own paper type of thing. It's like,
mind your own damn business. That was my favorite quote of the night. I love that he called it the golden rule too. It was great. Exactly. Mind your own damn business. And
you don't have to have
perfect?
An abortion. You don't have to have IVF. You can believe that it's not the God's way, whatever. Okay, you don't do it. But that doesn't mean that you have to make it so nobody else can do it. That's the problem. And that is the problem with the many in the Republican Party, is that they want to impede on the freedom of other people to make the choice that they want to make. They want to be in your doctor's office. They want to be in your kid's bedroom. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. They want to be in the classroom in a way that doesn't make sense. They don't want to trust teachers. They don't want to trust educators. They want to get rid of the friggin' Department of Education if you leave it up to Project 2025.
They want to be in the library. They want, but these are the people that are for freedom.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's like their view of freedom.
Freedom to do what you want me to do.
Yeah, it's really it's exhausting. It's really, really exhausting. So I'm excited. I'm energized. Here is I don't know if this is the first ad campaign, but this is one of the ad campaigns that have come out for Harris and Walz.
Sometimes life is as much about the lessons you learn as the lessons you teach. When I grew up, community was a way of life. My high school class was 24 people. I was related to half of them. I learned to be generous towards my neighbors, compromise without compromising my values, and work for the common good. My dad was in the Army, and with his encouragement, I joined the Army National Guard when I was 17. I served for 24 years. I used my GI benefits to go to college and become a public school teacher. I coached football and taught social studies for 20 years. And I tried to teach my students what small-town Nebraska taught me: respect, compromise, service to country. And so when I went into government, that's what I carried with me. I worked with Republicans to pass an infrastructure bill, cut taxes for working families, signed paid leave into law. I codified abortion rights after Roe got overturned. Because I go to work for the common good. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. Because that's what this election is about. It's about your future. It's about your family. And Vice President Harris knows that. She too grew up in a middle-class family. She too goes to work every day, making sure families can not just get by, but get ahead. We believe in the promise of America, in those values I learned in Nebraska, and we're ready to fight for them. Because as Kamala Harris says, when we fight, we win.
I love that campaign slogan, by the way. I love it. When we fight, we win. Yeah. What is the Trump Vance campaign ad going to freaking look like? What is it going to look like? If you can imagine a Trump Vance campaign ad. Oh, thank you so much, Donald, for the donation in memory of my Maine Coon, Sophie, who passed away last weekend. Oh, Donald, I am so sorry. Maine Coons are gorgeous and gigantic cats, right? I just learned about Maine Coons because we know cat people. Oh, I'm so sorry, Donald. My heart goes out to you.
Them in his picture that he has there. So, yeah, our hearts go out to you. I know
but
that's
thank
not
you
easy.
so much for the donation as well. And that's so sad. That's awful. But thank you. And again, I just don't know what a Trump campaign ad's gonna go. Not going back, Trevor says. Trevor from Hollywood. Hello, my friend. Yeah, not going back. When we fight, we win. We're just doing it, people. We're doing it.
That someone else mentioned in the chat earlier how nervous it seems that Trump is getting. And you know how important it is to him to have big crowds.
Oh, God,
it's very important to fill a stadium. When he was at inauguration, he wanted to have as many people in the stands as, came to the Great Mall to listen to the I Have a Dream speech. He wants to be adored and he wants people to flock to him.
Yeah.
But they aren't.
And
they're not filling up these campaign areas, and they're not at all. And then people have been talking about and showing the long lines of people getting into these Harris-Walz rallies, right?
Exactly.
And she is packing people in. It's standing room only in all of these venues where she is going across the Midwest. And he's not able to do that for whatever reason, which is interesting because the polls would indicate that it's half and half. So I don't know why, but he's
because it's the same
BS.
It's the same BS.
He is freaking out over it. He is not happy. He's talking about how she can't give interviews to the press and how it's not true that his venues aren't filling up. This whole thing is really shaking him.
Oh no, you know what you need to Google? There's some people have been putting together a montage of Donald Trump walking out at places and waving and there's nobody there. He just pretends that there's a crowd always, and so he's always waving, and then they pan and there's nobody there. There's like nobody really in the vicinity. Just like, again, in his mind, he always feels like he's on display.
They had a side-by-side of, in Michigan, it was like yesterday or the day before, where Kamala Harris was at a rally and the place was like jammed with people. It was a sea of humanity, like COVID outbreak central, right? And then you had Vance standing in front of a business and there were like maybe 20 people there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it panned out and there's like all this room for people to stand and it was empty.
Oh God. Well, I mean, again, he's not excited. It shouldn't be exciting, but this is campaigning, right? This is campaigning. And then there's this fun video of Walz. And I think that this is another thing that's getting under Trump's skin, because you can't forget Donald Trump is a documented racist. And this is Tim Walz on that.
Here's the great news. How often in 100 days do you get to change the trajectory of the world? How often in 100 days do you get to do something that's going to impact generations to come? And how often in the world do you make that bastard wake up afterwards and know that a black woman kicked his ass and sent him on the road?
I mean, again, it's going to get under his skin if and when Kamala Harris kicks his ass in the polls. I just want it to be a landslide. I really just don't want there to be any question whatsoever. There's a lot of time between now and then. I'm not saying that Donald Trump can make up, a ground. He has made some really weird promises that have not been landing. He vowed to defund schools that require vaccines for students. That would mean he would defund every school in the United States, because every single school in the United States has some sort of vaccine mandate. I'm an expert now on vaccinations because that is my job now at the school. And can I just give a blanket as school is starting right now? People, help your school office worker and health clerk send in your immunization records now, not on the first day of school, please. But yeah, I'm telling you, I'm an expert on all things vaccinations, in every single state in the United States has some sort. I'm not talking COVID. I'm talking polio, diphtheria,
measles,
whatever.
right.
Yeah, all that kind of. There is a rule. So he would defund every school. And this is something he's saying out loud. And again, this would be front page news of an asinine promise. But we're so desensitized because he makes weird, bizarre promises. And I was like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Anyway, he's just saying that. And that's who people want to be president of the United States, is somebody that's so full of crap, we don't even take what he says seriously. That's who the GOP is putting forward. That's
How
crazy.
How nonsensical is this? They care more about shoving the 10 Commandments down the throats of people of all religions than they do about keeping kids safe from getting diseases that could kill them.
Exactly.
It's not common sense to me.
No, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
So Trump gives this press conference today, and he says some more crazy ass. He's asked about his complaints about having to face Harris in this race instead of President Biden. He said it's not fair that he had to defeat Biden and now he has to defeat Harris. Okay.
He didn't defeat Biden, but okay.
He says that, here's what he says. Ask why Harris was doing so well in the polls. Trump said, this is from Huffington Post.
Okay.
Trump said, and this is a quote, "She's a woman who represents certain groups of people." That's what he said. He predicts that her support will drop after people find out about her. So what you're saying is she's doing well in the polls because she's a black woman, right? Is that what you're saying?
I mean,
how racist is that? Talking about being racist.
Racist and sexist. And I will also remind Donald Trump, it's not as if she came out of nowhere. She's the vice president of the freaking United States. We know who Kamala Harris is.
We know what she stands for. We know her very well. We'll take her, bitchy or otherwise. We like her.
Yeah.
He also was asked about mifepristone, the abortion pill.
Yeah.
And here's what he said to that. He said, you could do things. He was asked, he said, whether he believed the FDA should restrict access to mifepristone which survived this Supreme Court,
Right.
case this year. And here's his answer. You could do things that would supplement. Absolutely.
God. Is this another inject the bleach in the body thing? Okay.
And
go.
those things are pretty open and humane. He said, but you have to vote. The people are going to decide. Okay. No, there is no way to supplement mifepristone. Those things are not open to debate. Either you allow people to have it or you don't.
Or you don't. Exactly.
Either you think it's a woman's medical issue and she can decide for herself, or I guess you don't.
You don't, right.
Either you mind your own damn business or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says that the people are going to vote. The people aren't going to vote on mifepristone unless what you're saying is the people are going to vote either for you or for Kamala Harris, and that's somehow a referendum on whether mifepristone should be allowed. So are you saying that you're going to not allow it if you're the president? So if people care about it, they should vote for Harris? Because that's how I'll take that.
Yeah, again, spell mifepristone, Trump, by the way. Explain what mifepristone does to the body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
mm-hmm.
I love the men that, always join and are such huge, adorable supporters. But I don't know if the average man understands the difference between Plan B, the, morning after pill,
sure,
stone, all of these different options, right?
No,
women
he doesn't know.
They don't know, but they will regulate it. They will tell you can't have it. And they don't even understand what it is. They don't even understand that the morning after pill is not an abortion pill, right? They don't even understand the difference. And so it's crazy. Agolf says, we don't have the 10 commandments posted in our classrooms, but we have free breakfast and lunch. Governor Tim Walz. Exactly. I would rather live by the teachings, if you believe in it, of the 10 commandments than to have something plastered on the wall and be hypocritical because you don't believe in it. You know what I mean? Like, stop already. Just stop. Donald's like, bourbon o'clock. I have my cocktail. This is Jim Beam. It's not the best. My husband, just on a little tangent over here, so we're talking about cocktails. I think Maude was asking what we were drinking. My husband has a very in-depth. I'm trying to talk him into this. Maybe if enough of you guys convince me. But I would have to do what Kim McAllister is supposed to be doing, which is to drink it straight. My husband has an extremely impressive bourbon collection.
Oh.
But he won't let me mix it because it's just blasphemous.
It's
right?
the good stuff. It's like
the good. So he's like, you're not putting club soda in that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like when someone gives you a very fine wine and you try to put ice cubes in it.
Oh yeah, exactly.
This is not what happens. Yeah.
So what he does is, periodically if we're watching something on the weekend, he'll pour himself a glass and then he'll hand it to me. And I'll be like, well, I like this. And he'll tell me, it's a little hot. So he'll prepare me for it, and, he's like, this is the one that you've liked before. And so I do some kind of tastings. If I did a tasting during the show, though, it'd be all bad. It would put Wine at 9 to shame. I'm just saying, I can't drink straight bourbon on air. I don't need to say it. But if I let every S go, I say shit sometimes. I say bitch sometimes. But Kim knows I have a potty mouth. So if I let it go, I'll let it go. And I have to hold back.
Ladyland, what you might not know is we come from a background in radio, right? Where it's really important for us not to swear. So we try really hard not to. Sometimes they slip out.
No, I'm telling you, Kim. Okay, again, we've talked politics. Somebody else was asking in the comments how it's going at my job after being there a week. The other thing that I have to worry about. Oh, is we getting the cocktail? Kim's house. Okay. What is it? Okay, so what is it? You have to tell us what it is.
This is Whistle Pig.
No, it's 10-year tawny port.
Wait, what is it?
10-year tawny port.
Oh, 10-year tawny port. You have better hearing than I do. 10-year tawny port. I'm excited for this one.
Okay, let's do it. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Is it hot? I always call it hot.
Who made it?
Hold on.
He's going to let me know.
Okay. We have a bunch of Knob Creek as part of our collection, Donald. I think I might do that. That would be a fun one. But James would insist that I drink it straight. So no more of my cocktails. But yeah, okay.
We have to invite him in for that if we're going to do a bourbon tasting.
If he's home, he's gone right now with Dylan. But if he's here, maybe I'll include him in the segment. I cannot do port. I can't. My in-laws love port, or they have port sometimes. I just can't.
This is a Porto Morgado.
Okay.
Porto Morgado 10-year tawny port, a product of Portugal.
Oh, Portugal. Okay. Thank you, David. We love our segments. We like our drinking segments here. It's 5 o'clock. Oh, it's 6 o'clock. Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I was drinking already.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay.
Here's to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Exactly.
May we go blue in 2024.
Yeah, but somebody was telling me about asking how the job was going. Cussing, I need to keep under check as well because the kids are soon going to be on campus. And from what I understand, can I just say though, Kim, that I am extremely lucky at the school I got hired at, because these ladies that I work with, in addition to the principal who is like my age, I fit right in. I'm just saying, I don't know if it's me or it's them, but it's like the concoction. I fit right in, but they're freaking me out because they're just like, oh, this isn't the job right now. It's so nice. There's nobody on campus. So I have no idea what my job's going to look like. Every time somebody comes in, because the teachers are starting to roll in, picking up their keys, they're going to get their classrooms ready, I introduce myself as the new health coach. They're like, oh, every time the previous person would come by, they'd always have all these kids in their office, which is what I'm going to have to deal with, right? Yeah. And so I'm a little nervous. The other thing that's starting this year at our school is the kids are going to have to put their cell phones in those yonder pouches, like if you ever go to a comedy show and they make you lock up your pouch and then they have a bunch of magnets and they let it out. So they're going to do that. I think there was actually in the news, a high school was adding to it today. So we're going to see how it goes. I told my daughter that the school that I work at is doing it. And she's like, that's not going to work. Those kids are going to find out how to break into those things in 2 seconds. I was like, well, if they're caught, we get to confiscate their phones, which I don't know. But
so does the student get to carry the phone on their person yet?
Yes, they get to keep it. They get to keep the pouch, and at the end of so first period, the teacher gets like extra 5 minutes, so they get to lock all of it up. They get to keep the pouch and the phone on them at all time. But at the end of the day, they can unlock the phone, and if they are found with a phone, we take it and we confiscate it. If they forget the pouch, because they could take the pouch home, then we just take their phone and we hold it all day. And then they won't forget their phone anymore. I don't know if it's going to work. We're giving it a shot. I hope it works. I just want phones out of the classroom altogether. Yeah. Honestly, but everyone has to do it. If you find out that some kids still have their phones and other kids don't have their phones, it's never going to work. No. It's never going to work. Harry, we're drinking at 5 o'clock. We're drinking every Thursday, 5 o'clock. Get your cocktail, your mocktail, your water, your root beer, whatever you imbibe. We're drinking. We're talking about this week's news.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your
friends.
Gave
it to me in the fancy glass too. I'm excited.
Well, you have to have it in a bourbon glass. Mm-hmm. You have to have it in. Yeah, you have to have it in the bourbon glass. Absolutely.
Nikki is the cell phone police.
No, I'm not going to be the cell phone police. You know what I imagine I'm going to end up being though? I'm going to be the person that they're going to come to because they just don't want to be at school anymore. Like they're going to be like, I don't feel good. Can you call my parents? But see, they don't know about me is that I am the queen of hearing this BS because, I'm the mom of one of those kids that's always in the office trying to go home. So I've heard it all. I've heard all the excuses. So no, you can sit here. You can have your sympathy ice for 5 minutes and then you got to go back to the classroom. So, but I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I might lose my mind. Who knows? I might lose my mind. We'll see.
So here's a question. Oh, wait, but before I get to it, we have another contribution to the show. This one coming from Jennifer N.
Jennifer, thank you.
Who says, thank you for this gift of a weekly happy hour and longer show and live to boot, I would add. Yeah. This is an amazing way to enter the weekend. Excellent.
That's what
Jennifer
we thought.
N, cheers to you.
Thank you so much for the donation in the super chat. We love you guys so much. That's what we were thinking. Yeah. We're like, let's talk about the week's news. And the news is always enough to make you drink, right? So, and I understand that we have some sober people here. Whatever you do. And you know what I would also say? I know there's some of you that don't drink alcohol. You might imbibe in the THC. Whatever you want to do, we are here for you. So the actual position that I'm at the school is I'm the nurse. I'm the nurse. But I'm not a nurse. We have an actual nurse. I'm the one though. And when your tummy hurts, you come to me. I triage you. I figure out whether or not you need any more serious help. And then there's people that I call that can handle the serious stuff, but it's me. That's me. And then I help the office ladies. I'm another office person. So I'm working my way into the education field, and but right now I'm all about getting my kids vaccinated. If you're a parent, especially of a 7th grader, get your vaccinations in place. It's driving me nuts.
Speaking of politics, though, and wrapping up the week's news.
Yes.
I have to tell you something gross and stupid.
That's two of my favorite things. Gross and stupid things.
So, you know about the whole JD Vance and his couch thing, which he allegedly wrote about this incident in Hillbilly Elegy, which may or may not have ever happened.
Yeah,
but
so
whatever.
apparently he put something in the couch and he went to town.
Got it on with the couch, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, in order to apparently counteract this, Donald Trump Jr. has decided that it's a good idea to target Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota by saying that he somehow has relations with farm animals. This is what they're saying. Like, you can't really focus on the issues. You have to go there.
Right.
They're
farm
floundering.
animals.
Like, that's the best you can get.
No,
Yeah.
it's so asinine. You know what else? It's these Fox News hosts that are just making themselves look even stupider than they already do. I can't stand Fox News hosts. I only watch them through clips that I find on X or whatever news source online. I don't actually watch Fox News. Don't ever think that I watch Fox News. I do not. But Jesse Waters is badass crazy. And he's one of those people that just says things and there's no basis in fact for it. So he was talking about the Italian boxer. You've all heard the drama about the Italian boxer who has an XY chromosome, but she is a woman, and this other boxer quit, and there was this big hoopla about it. She's a woman. She's a woman. She's a woman. But Jesse Waters is, of course, saying that she's not. But then listen to the end of it about what he says about people that vote for the Democratic ticket.
Now at a point where we're about to give gold medals to men for beating up women. We might have a gold and silver medalist who just beat up a bunch of women. They're going to stand up on the podium and get medals hung around their neck for punching girls in the face.
No one is saying that they're men. They're not men.
They're men.
No,
okay,
everybody.
They're not.
Jessica. And if Trump were president, he would slap Algeria with sanctions.
That's so stupid.
Harris,
Now listen.
Now at a point where we're about to give gold medals.
Darn it! It doesn't have the whole clip. But then all of a sudden he says, "I thought I had it." Then all of a sudden he says, "This is the clip." He's like, "If you vote Democratic, you literally scientists say." He says, "Scientists say that if you vote for the Democratic candidate, you start transitioning into a woman."
Okay, that's
he said that last out.
That's a drinking game. That's
He
like,
said that
what
out
asinine thing are they going to say? No.
And even the women on the panel were like, "Scientists say that." He's like, "Yeah, scientists say that." This is the channel that people watch that they want to have a presidential debate on. You're insane. Anybody that watches Fox News is still crazy in my book, though.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I mean, Jesse Waters is losing his absolute mind. But then there was this other issue really quickly that I wanted to bring up. Donald Trump tried to win over hospitality workers with this pledge that their tips would be tax-free.
Yeah.
The union decided to still throw their support behind Kamala Harris. And do you want to know why? Because they knew that Trump was merely making a play for votes while Harris has credibility from having supported unions. People aren't buying Trump's bullshit. Yeah. There's your shit for you. I'm telling you, it's getting old for them. And I'm so happy to see it. I hope it continues. I really do. I don't know what other tool Trump has or trick he has in his tool belt, because again, it's getting old. People are bored with the same exact thing.
Well, when they come out and they say stupid stuff like that, stupid and weird, to continue our stupid and weird category, when they come out and they say science says you're going to start turning trans, or when they start leveling these accusations that you have relations with farm animals or whatever it is, that means they have nothing of substance to offer.
No, they have nothing.
And it means they're just running scared and throwing everything they can see they can come up with. And that's not a defense.
Nope.
That's I'm laying on the ground, rolling around, floundering. I have nothing else to offer.
Nope.
Except for this weirdness. So I think that's good. Keep doing the weird stuff, because we all get it. We know what that's about.
All right. I have to squeeze this in. Okay. I really do, because
Tell me we're going to the Olympics again.
Oh, well, we will go to the Olympics, but
Okay.
the RFK story. Do you know you don't know the RFK story?
I know. Are you talking about the bear?
Yes. Okay. I have to play it. Now, the other thing that I want to also point out that took me way too long to figure out in this video is who he's talking to. It's Roseanne Barr. Like it took me way too long to realize that was her. And I was like, oh, that totally makes sense. The funny part was I'm on X. I'll tell you the story. So I'm on X and this guy had tweeted 10 years ago, he says, hold on, I have to bring it up real quickly. He says, who the F, he types it out, hits a bear cub with their car, probably by accident, and then brings it to drop it in Central Park. This guy's name is Mark Sundstrom. And then he tweets this week, well, it took nearly 10 years, but I got my answer. And here it is, if you haven't seen it, because I can't believe, again, people say this shit out loud.
I was taking a group of people falconing up in Goshen, New York, up in the Hudson Valley. And I was supposed to meet them there at like maybe 8 or 9. I was driving up maybe, really early, like 7. And that woman in a van in front of me hit a bear and killed it, a young bear. So I pulled over and I picked up the bear and put him in the back of my van because I was going to skin the bear, and it was very good condition, and I was going to put the meat in my refrigerator. And you can do that in New York State. You can get a bear tag for a roadkill bear. And so then we went hawking, and I had the bear in my car. And then we had a really good day, and we went late. We were catching a lot of game, and the people really loved it, so we stayed late.
Let me just pause here for a second and say, if I put a bear in my car, I wouldn't be going anywhere else. Like, I would take care of the bear. He went to continue hunting. Okay, so that's one weird thing.
And instead of going back to my home in Westchester, I had to go right to the city because there was a dinner.
So he had to go to dinner. There's a dead bear in his car.
At Peter Luger's Steakhouse. And at the end of the dinner, it went late, and I realized I couldn't go home. I had to go to the airport. And the bear was in my car, and I didn't want to leave the bear in the car because that would have been bad.
That would be bad. That part would be bad. Okay.
So then I thought, at that time, this was a little bit of the redneck in me. There'd been a series of bicycle accidents in New York. They had just put in the bike lanes. And so a couple of people had gotten killed, and it was every day, and people had gotten badly injured. Every day it was in the press. Yeah. And so I thought, I wasn't drinking, of course, but people were drinking with me who thought this was a good idea. And I said, I had an old bike in my car that somebody had asked me to get rid of. I said, let's go put the bear in Central Park, and we'll make it look like he got hit by a bike. Funny for people. So everybody thought that's a great idea. So we went and did that, and we thought it would be amusing for whoever found it or something. The next day, it was like, it was on every television station. It was the front page of every paper. And I turned on the TV, and there was like a mile of yellow tape, and there were 20 cop cars. There were helicopters flying over it. And I was like, oh my God. What did I do?
Now, again, he's saying this out loud. Like, and people will vote for him. Like, he's just, I don't know, man. I just don't get it. He had a dead bear, an old bicycle. He wanted to catch more game. And I think that RFK is just bat crazy. But Calvin says, since when is the candidate family hard up for food and beer skins for clothing? Yeah. And when is he a redneck, by the way? Like, please. Donald says, I couldn't handle a long speech from him. That's also true. Now, he has the vocal thing. He
has something called spasmodic dysphonia, which affects your involuntary movement of your voice box only.
There was a woman
I have a hard time understanding him.
Yeah, so. There's a woman on that used to talk on NPR I'm brain farting on her name. She was iconic. She was on it for years, and she had that. And I remember I was like, it was kind of hard to understand. But again, it's not his fault. But yeah, not saying that you can't have that, issue and not be successful in life. But do you want your president to would you have to listen to that all the time? Agolf says an interview between Roseanne Barr and RFK Jr. is literally sonic hell. I had no idea until like halfway through. I was like, oh crap, that's Roseanne Barr. She looked like she was out of the 50s or something with like the headband and the yellow dress. I was like, I really didn't recognize her. I'm using for whoever found it. Yeah, exactly. But again,
I was trying to get a picture rallied so I could show you the photo of what it looked like where he dumped the bear.
Right.
And I saw the picture and I thought, I don't want to show that to anyone. Like it's a dead animal. Be respectful.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not cool. I mean, I know it's not a human,
yeah,
but still, I don't want to see that. And I don't think you do either. So
no. And it's not Terry Gross that I'm talking about. Absolutely not. No, this was she was on, I don't know if she was on local, like KQED, that's our local, or NPR. But I remember when I was driving home late at night, I would turn it on and she had that same thing. I remember because I Googled it. I was like, what's up with this woman's voice? Yeah. And I found out it was the same thing that RFK Jr. has. Yeah. And again, she was on the radio and she still kept her job. And I'm not trying to knock him for that. RFK Jr. is just a wackadoo. So that's Diane Rem. Is that who it is? I think that might be right. You might be right. Okay, so let's move on to the Olympics, which are still on. Look at Kim McAllister. Look at her getting hammered. Look at her. Okay, so we have to talk about the pole vaulter. Okay, now I'm sitting at home, and Kim McAllister sends me. I'm like already in the notes. So this pole vaulter's name is Anthony Ammirati. Okay. Now, if you haven't seen it, I'm trying to get it up. I'm sorry. I had all my other videos up. Do I have it? Darn it. Oh, I don't have the video up right now. I'm sure everyone has seen it.
I'm going to find it while you're talking. I'll find it.
Well, you talk because I have a story that goes along with it. Please find it. I'm sorry. I just had to have all the other videos up. Kim's going to find the video. If you haven't seen it, you've been under a rock. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So this pole vaulter, Anthony Ammirati, he's actually had a golden offer. This is what they're calling it. He's being offered $250,000 from an adult film site for an hour-long webcam show. Because apparently, now I don't know what the rules are when you're a pole vaulter in order to avoid what happened from happening. But if anything was going to happen, I don't know. If I was, and I don't want to be stereotypical, like, oh, if I was a guy, that's what I would want to happen. I would not want that to happen simply because, I have it.
Here
we go. I have it. Okay, here we go. This is, I can't imagine. The tweet on this says he may have lost the Olympics, but he won at life. So here we go. This is Anthony Ammirati. And he goes up. And no, what are the rules here?
Now, Mark says he hit it with his knee first, but it was knee then package.
The package took down the pole. I am sorry. Yeah. The package took down the pole. Now, I don't know. Do we have any pole vaulters? Should you wear a cup? Should we be taping it down? Is there something you could do to prevent that from happening? Because I imagine when you're coming down the front of the pole, you want to be as straight. You don't want any bulges. You don't want that to happen. You don't want anything taking it down. Is what I'm saying.
I was watching something or reading something where someone said they need to have an Olympic drag queen that monitors these things and is able to come with tape and teach you how to tape things down.
Yeah.
You have an Olympic drag queen that just goes around and helps everybody.
But it has to be movable enough that it doesn't impact you vaulting, right? You have to be able to move and get it up. There was another video of a pole vaulter that went up and then fell right back. It's not as easy as it looks, people. It's not as easy as it looks.
Well, remember
I can't
last
show
time, I think
I can't show a lot of Olympic videos. I got dinged last time, so I had to take them all out. So
last time we showed the diver that had the big package.
Yes.
So this is not a one-off. Like these things happen.
Yes, guys have big packages, and they are in the Olympics. It's it's a casualty of the sport, but one that I don't think that men necessarily are shying away from. But again, this Olympic pole vaulter, he's being offered. What's the adult film site? I swear I need my glasses. I don't know the name.
If you're gonna
Cam
lose.
Soda. Cam Soda is offering Anthony Almaratti $250,000 if he'll do an hour-long webcam show. I don't know if it's clothed or not. I'm assuming it is not. Or he has to wear the pole vaulting outfit. I have no idea.
Can you imagine the conversation? So why didn't you medal at the Olympics? Well, let me tell you.
You know what I love? I love the fact that Mark Thompson tried to say it was the knee. Like, just give the guy the win, please. He lost
Can we see the video
Olympics.
again? Can we see the video again?
Yes, hold on. Let me bring it up again.
Because watch the knee. The knee
Mark.
does hit first. I will say that.
Oh, hold on.
But it's not what ultimately.
Oh, does the knee? I didn't see any knee.
Now watch for the knee.
Okay,
watch
hold
for
on.
the first hit of the knee as he goes over.
Oh, hold on. I'm hitting the wrong buttons because I'm getting all distracted by. Okay, so here we go. Where is it? Da, 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 da. Here we go. Da, da. Here, okay. Da, 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 da. Okay.
Knee
Oh,
first.
yeah. No.
But
Okay,
I
so-
mean, still, so knee package down. Yeah.
But still, the fact that the package brought it down, you know what I mean? It brought it down. I give the guy the win. Shut up, Mark. I give the guy the win. The knee might have done it, but no. You know, if you're gonna lose,
That's
it's
why.
better to lose that way than you go on the pole and then it falls back because you weren't able to like swing yourself
Sure.
over. You know what I mean?
perfect.
So,
Yes.
exactly. Apparently Snoop Dogg is coming back though. Snoop
I
Dogg.
love this so much. I have gone down the Snoop Dogg rabbit hole watching all these Snoop Dogg shorts on YouTube. This is great.
Again, I would show them to you. I can't show
No.
them. I'll get dinged. But the Google Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart with the horses. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I was cracking up. But apparently Snoop has said he's going to come back next year. And I don't know if it's true, but apparently a reporter was sitting next to or close by to an NBC executive who said out loud at a dinner that Snoop was paid $500,000 a day.
Oh, wow.
To do the Olympics. Now,
Well, I would say he's worth it because of how much publicity that they're getting.
absolutely.
And they're inviting him back for the Winter Olympics in 2026.
Yeah.
So
And he's going to bring eyeballs. He's funny, but I will believe it. Snoop was working. Like he was everywhere. Like he was everywhere. And yes, Deidre, I love Flava Flav. He sponsored the girls water polo team.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week. He actually wore a second clock because one of the girls that lost a family member right before the Olympics. And so he wore it in honor of that family member. So sweet. I'm not saying the Olympics need celebrities, but it helps, right? I'm enjoying watching the Olympics. I don't think it needs anything more than that. But apparently also Tom Cruise may be part of the closing games. He's expected to perform what they're calling a mega stunt at the Olympics closing ceremony in Paris. So
let's hope
we'll see what
Tom
that
Cruise
is.
doesn't die at the Olympics.
No, I mean
That would be a bad close.
he does his own stunts, though. I
Yeah.
think that he's going to be just fine. He does his own stunts. So I'm enjoying that. You know what also starts, I think, tomorrow? Breakdancing.
Oh.
I'm very excited. I think it's the first year that breakdancing is at the Olympics. So very excited to see that. And Liz is not a fan of it. I know. You know, Tom Cruise, I've liked him in certain movies a lot. But I do find that Tom Cruise plays Tom Cruise. So it's kind of hard. He was really good, even though the movie, I think it doesn't, what was it called? The one where Robert Downey Jr. played a black guy. I forget the name, but anyways, Tom Cruise played the exec, and he had like on this fat suit, and you couldn't even you couldn't tell he was great in that movie. Obviously, Tom Cruise in younger years played a great movie, but yeah, he needs to lose himself in roles. Otherwise, he's just playing himself. I'll give you Tropic Thunder. Thank you. That movie, Robert Downey Jr. playing a white dude that's playing a black dude. I don't know if it would hold up with this generation, but when I watched that movie, I could not stop laughing. Have you seen Tropic Thunder ever,
No.
Kim?
Mm-mm.
Okay, and not your cup of tea. Anybody else's cup of tea? I don't know. I think this like younger generations might find it very, 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 very offensive. But I saw it in the theater and I was cracking up. Anyways, Tom Cruise was good in that movie. He lost himself in that movie. I liked him also in Jerry Maguire. I thought he was pretty good in that movie.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
good.
exactly. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, Heather thought it was funny. It was funny. You just have to understand that it's going to be offensive because it was offensive. That was the point. Like,
sure,
being offended was the point, and Robert Downey Jr. did it so well. He really, really did. It really, really did. You know what I did last night?
Challenge accepted, Calvin.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kim, that's your movie. Will Kim McAllister like it? You know what I've been also watching that I told Kim McAllister she should not watch is The Boys. Any boys? That's really gruesome. Not your cup of tea. Born on the 4th of July, another great movie.
Love
I
that
also liked
movie.
Rain Man. I do like a lot of Tom Cruise movies. I just feel like the Mission Impossibles, I feel like it's Tom Cruise. Does that make sense? You know, he doesn't lose himself. He's no Meryl Streep. Okay. Tom Cruise is not Meryl Streep. So no.
I liked the one where, what was the one where he was, it was about how, you know, they were going to get you before you even committed a crime.
Oh, Minority Report.
Yeah, I liked that movie. That was good.
I liked that one too. That was a good one. I've always thought about it. I think about that movie actually a lot. Bit of a Roman Empire there. Love The Boys, Kathleen. Yeah, but Kimmy is not gonna like.
I
It's
can't do
very
that.
gory.
Extreme gruesome violence is not
So
my
you're
jam.
not. I saw Deadpool 3. Do not go watch Deadpool 3, Kim.
No.
It's so funny. I was telling my dad I saw Deadpool 3, and he's like, "Why is it rated R?" Because like Ryan Reynolds is in it, blah blah blah. And I was like, "Oh, it's extremely gory, graphic, and there's a ton of cussing, but they put all the gore to funny music. So it's really there's a lot of blood, a lot of nudity." A Few Good Men is a great movie.
That's a really good one.
That is a movie that
Yeah.
if it comes on, it's kind of up there with Shawshank Redemption, where I have to watch it, at least the court scene with Jack Nicholson, because you got to do the speech with Jack Nicholson. So
Probably
you know.
my favorite Tom Cruise movie. I used to have this poster in my room when I was a teenager.
Ooh, look at Kim.
It was Tom Cruise wearing a Letterman's jacket with a football under his arm, and the movie was I think it was called All the Right Moves.
Oh yeah,
It's a good one. Risky
Yeah.
Business.
Yes,
Those are the
those
movies
are the
of my
older
youth.
ones. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Those. That's funny that you mentioned youth because guess what I did last night?
What did you do?
I went to the Alanis Morissette concert last night.
Did you?
At Shoreline Amphitheater. Yes.
How was it?
It was so much fun.
You
So
should have
my-
taken me. I would have been shouting out the lyrics. You wouldn't have been able to shut me up.
It was so funny. So my best friend, her daughter actually bought her tickets for her birthday and never like she thought that I had told her daughter to do this. And I was like, no, your daughter did that on her own. She's like, oh, I thought you didn't. You were coming with me. I was like, I'll go with you. And so we went. We were like old ladies who had the lawn chairs because it was at Shoreline. I'm like, I'm not sitting on a thing. My butt hurts. I'm not doing that. So we went. It was Morgan Wade, who I don't know, Joan Jett,
who
was awesome, and then Alanis Morissette. I am telling you, Alanis Morissette, her voice is so amazing. She has not lost any of it. She could put out another album today, and her voice is so powerful. No, my daughter did not go. But what's funny is I went to work this morning and I'm talking to one of my colleagues who went to the Young Migo concert. Now, if you don't know who Young Migo is, she's kind of like, I don't know how to describe her. She's Puerto Rican. She's kind of poppy. I don't know how to describe her. She kind of a little Billie Eilish, whatever, but two totally different genres of music. And I told her I went to Alanis Morissette and she looked at me like, who? And I was like, and I'm trying to sing these songs. And yeah, no, it was like she had
Jagged Little Pill, you ought to
no.
know.
Yeah, no. And then she was like,
thank you.
Then another of my colleagues was mixing her up with, remember the chick Meredith who sang that bitch song? I'm a bitch. No, that's not Alanis Morissette. So they were like mixing all of their 90s. And I was like, no. But it was so much fun. Joan Jett was amazing. She was really, really good. But yeah, it was a good time. We definitely had a ball. We left a little early because I'm old and I wanted Meredith Brooks.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Left a little early to beat the traffic because again, I'm old and it was on a Wednesday. Concerts in the middle of the week. My God, I'm too old. I'm like, no, and Shoreline sucks to get out of, by the way. So, she sang at Game 7 of the NHL final and she was awesome. Are you talking about Alanis Morissette? I'm telling you, she has not lost one note. She hits every note and it's so powerful. So powerful. So yeah, it was a great concert. If anyone else, Flo, yeah, it was, the tickets weren't that bad for lawn. They weren't that bad. So yeah, it was a good time. You know what else, just kind of in the music realm, you know who I was sad to see retired or what the band? Aerosmith. I was really, really sad.
Aerosmith retired?
Steven Tyler, his voice is done. He can't sing anymore. So they've hung it up. I love Aerosmith. And so I couldn't get tickets. Our old friend Brett Burkhardt at KGO, now at KCBS, actually had tickets to the concert, but then Steven Tyler got sick. They were doing refunds. And now he's never going to be able to see him again. So it's really sad. It's just like these people that you just, grew up listening to and it's just over. And yeah, it was sad to see. But yeah, Alanis Morissette, pick up her albums, teach your kids because she's really, really amazing. Let's read a couple more comments before we end the show. Ricky, don't feel bad, Kim. Haven't seen any of the movies you guys are talking about.
Thank you, Ricky. Thank you.
Shout out to our old colleague Karen Reed, who never sees any movies whatsoever. No, but I just always mention her whenever we talk about movies that nobody has ever seen.
Never seen that.
Never seen any movie. I'm like, how have you never seen any movie that I ever mention? And she never has. She's never seen any of the Mission Impossible movies. I saw like 1 and 2, and then after a while, it's like, okay.
I guess they're action packed. I like the thrill of this, hanging by the edge of your seat stunts and all that. I'm into that. I'll do that.
I guess. I mean, they're action packed. They're not boring, I would imagine. I can't imagine falling asleep in those movies, but after a while, it's just the same old crap. You know what I mean? I know, Rev. I loved Aerosmith growing up too. Flo says, saw UB40 with special guest Maxi Priest at the Mountain Winery recently. 2 thumbs way up. UB40 was amazing. 45 years in music going strong.
Wow.
I swear. And again, it makes you feel old, right? It's like, oh, really? But when they bring it back and you can sing every single song, I don't care. I love it. I love going to concerts where it brings you right back to where you were when that song was playing. And my friend was really funny. She's like, are Joan Jett and Alanis Morissette the same age? And I was like, hell no. Because she was remembering Alanis Morissette. Obviously, she was in high school. She's a little younger than me. I was like, no, I remember seeing Alanis Morissette. She was like 20. So she was only a little bit older than us. She's 50 years old. If you want to know how old Alanis Morissette is, and if you also want to know a bit of trivia, Tim Walz is younger than Brad Pitt. So there you go, people.
Are you kidding me?
No, they're both 60, but Tim Walz's birthday is apparently after Brad Pitt.
Wow.
So they're both 60 years old.
God, how people can look so different is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, Brad Pitt has, rich people. And
look at me. I'm 25 and...
Exactly. And you look amazing. There you go. But yeah, Tim Walz, that's the one that's going around. That's the piece of trivia. Tim Walz and Brad Pitt, same exact age. So there you go.
Wow.
All right, you guys, that is our show. Please click thumbs up. YouTube loves it. We love it. It's amazing. Also subscribe and tell your friends about the Cocktail Happy Hour. We love seeing you all here. I know so many of you watch this in replay. If you can make it to the live show, we have a ton of fun here. I do want to give some thank yous to everybody that donates to our super chat. Lady Beatrice starting us off with a $5 donation. Donald, our hearts go out to you losing your Maine Coon. So sorry, and thank you so much for the donation as well. Jennifer, thank you so much for the $20 donation. Loving the happy hour. It's so much fun. And hey, if you guys have something that you want to, drink out here, let us know. They're giving Trump. Oh yeah, the Lady Beatrice with the $4.99 donation. Thank you so much. Now, if you want to support the show another way, please go to our website, thenikkimadoroshow.com. Our Patreon link is there. And we love our Madorables that donate through our Patreon and also PayPal. Patreon, one time a month, you sign up to our subscription and you become an official Madorable. PayPal, it's simple. Go to paypal.com. Hit the send button, put in the email address, thenikkimadoroshow@gmail.com. Every single donation we really appreciate. And also, you can support our sponsor, Auntie Tabby's Island Flavors. She has this delicious guava barbecue sauce that is absolutely amazing. It is so freaking good. So you can pick it up. And if you do, go to auntietabbys.com, use the coupon code NIKKIM, NIKKIM. You see it on your screen. And every single time you use it and order, you get 10% off. Part of it goes to us and part of it goes to help kids in Jamaica with this skateboarding program. So it's all to a good cause and it's absolutely delicious. So again, go to auntietabbys.com, put in the coupon code NIKKIM, NIKKIM. And it's another way to support the show. All right, you guys, we will be back this time, 5 o'clock next Thursday. Thank you guys so much for being here, sharing your time with us. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.